Welcome everybody to another edition of Podcast Friday. I hope everybody has been having a wonderful week so far. And there's been a couple of things that I have really been interested in recently on the Facebook and Google advertising platforms. And before I come to that though, I just wanted to discuss first the importance of rest and recovery, particularly if you work a desk job and you're in digital marketing. And a couple of weeks ago, I took the Tuesday off to go and spend some time with my friends at the Coromandel here in New Zealand. And it was actually such a rejuvenating and refreshing time away. And I came back so much more motivated and interested and passionate about the work that I was doing. And it kind of reminded me that if you are self-employed and if you do own your own business, that when you do clip the ticket to take some time off, it is so enjoyable and so satisfying to just really soak in that time away and enjoy the freedom that you do have to be able to write your own schedule. So that's the first thing. And coming over to Google and Facebook advertising, I've been very interested to see how effective search campaigns still are. There's one client that I have who has managed to achieve an unbelievable return on ad spend of over 100 to 1 with Google search ads. How incredible is that? Over 100 to 1 because they've got clothing that is made right here in New Zealand. It's got a unique selling point. And more importantly, we've created ads which have got only a few keywords and 2 ad groups running. Rather than setting up like 20 or 30 different ones, we've just got 2. And this thing that's made that so unique and interesting and I guess satisfying is we've used HiROS tracking to scale that campaign effectively and return such an amazing ROI that you'd be foolish to turn that campaign off at the moment. So that's the one thing that's quite interesting. And then the second one, of course, is with the Google Analytics 4 migration over, one of the things that I noticed, and the reason why I made a tutorial video, which you can find on the channel from earlier on this week at the time of recording, is a lot of Google Analytics 4 events are actually getting measured as secondary conversions rather than primary ones. And you have to remember that in Google advertising, secondary conversions are normally just observation only. Google's not actually optimizing your ad campaigns based on secondary conversions. They want to know what the primary conversions are, and then they will optimize based on that. So if you have recently completed the Google Analytics 4 migration, GA4 migration, go and have a check of your conversions and make sure that they are set to primary conversions, particularly for leads and sales-based metrics such as purchases, such as form submissions, and so on. I wanted to say a big, powerful shout out to Top Sparks Electrical. If you are living in Auckland and you need help with electrical work, give Dylan Barnett a call. topsparkselectrical.co.nz. And that sort of brings me to the next one, which is I'm recently started running some test ads on the Facebook platform, and I ran a little test targeting, what could you say? It was a very specific, very narrow type of audience targeting, mainly going after people that have specific job titles. And what was interesting about that is the cost per click was higher than it was on Google. And that's quite surprising because Facebook's quality of traffic generally tends to be lower, and same with their lead quality too. So I've recently adjusted that over to sort of more broad-based business, small business, entrepreneurship, interest-based targeting, narrowing it out for engaged shoppers. And what's been so interesting about that is it has definitely lowered the cost per click. However, there hasn't been too many leads produced from it yet. There's only been 2. So you always have to be mindful that sometimes if you find that your cost per click is initially too high, it may not have anything to do with what you're actually offering. It actually might have more to do just with your audience targeting. So it never hurts to have a broad-based target market in one ad group and then having a specialized targeting ad group in another one to first identify if your targeting is right and on point. And that brings me over to the next point, which is the copywriting itself and the actual offer. So in those ads that I'm running there, I actually hired a copywriter to create some ad copy variations for me on that one. And I found that, yeah, it performed all right. It did produce one lead, but that lead cost $100, and I haven't heard back from that lead yet. So I created some new ad copy, and I decided to inject a little bit of humor into the ad copy right at the start. And that was saying, hey, you wouldn't fix a blocked toilet with a banana or a leaky roof with a bandana. So why would you pay for fancy marketing reports and measure all the campaign success and clicks and shares and that sort of thing? So it really began to relate to tradies a lot more, and I think talking to them in a much more direct and honest way is something that they really appreciated it. And I found that to be the same thing as well with the trade clients that I've worked with, is they really do appreciate that direct type of communication, because if you think about the line of work that they do, it's very simple. The person that they're going to go help has got lights that they need changed. They have got blocked, blocked piping, for example. The hot water cylinder's gone. The front light is not working. They have a leaky roof that needs to be repaired. They've got gutters that are blocked. They have any type of particular problem. They maybe have a hole in their wall from something, and so it needs to be plastered up. All of those things are very simple things. You tell me what your problem is, I will come and fix it for you. And in the same way as well, when you are writing ad copy directed at a particular type of market, you need to understand where exactly they're coming from. And again, looking at the platform which you're operating on. Because if someone's typing in on Google, paid ads help, or paid ads agency, tradie marketing agency, their intent is very different from someone that is on Facebook watching a video that you just put out. So you need to always think about that element of humor, and you need to factor that in. So the test that we're running now is obviously the advertising copy, and the targeting is a little bit different. However, if that doesn't work, I'm probably going to shift towards the next thing, which is going to be focused on getting some very, very professional looking creatives set up and having those run for a little bit and see if that makes a difference. And of course, if that doesn't work, we go back to the drawing board and we come up with different ad copy, different targeting, different creatives, and we go again. Because ultimately, you have to keep on refining and refining. And even when you have a very good and established offer, you always need to think about, okay, what's the next step once you do get to that point? So always factor that in when you are creating your ads, and make sure that you've given yourself a chance of success. You're not just being, You're not just being complacent, and you're not letting other people move in on your territory. So that's something which is going to take a bit of time. And I think this time round, I'm going to give the campaign a little bit longer to optimize and give it a greater chance of letting the Facebook algorithm really find that right target audience for me. Because one of the problems that many advertisers still have, and I can attest to that hand on heart, I've done it myself, is we turn the campaigns off too fast. And you know what the problem with that is? You could just be maybe 2 or 3 days away from your campaign optimizing effectively. And I've got a really cool client that works in market research. And the first time around when we started working with them, they had a campaign that, generated leads, but quite expensive leads compared to now. So we refined it, and we tried different targeting, and we tried going after different interests, different ad copy. We went for different placements. We didn't just go on Advantage Plus. We tried more specific placements. And guess what? It worked. And that's what you need to factor in, is that you may not always get it right the first time, but you have to push and you have to refine you're targeting. So that's something that has been quite a bit of work, and it has been a bit of a journey. But remember, at the end of the day, if you can keep working at it and keep improving and keep on optimizing and don't give up, and if you are a marketer or an agency owner, just be honest with your clients about things that didn't work out well. You do have to highlight your wins and your achievements, but be honest about your failures and just be upfront about it, because the client, even if it doesn't work out in the end, they will at the very least respect you, respect your efforts, respect your honesty. So always remember that. Be upfront and honest about times that you made mistakes and own up to them, because that builds respect and it builds trust, so that when you do have big wins and achievements and you communicate those with the client, they actually are genuinely like, okay, well, this person was honest with me about the times where they made mistakes, so they're being honest with me now about the times where they've gotten big wins. So it's kind of a lot more authentic. So I'm going to leave it there for today, everybody. Coming to you live with my face this time around rather than just the voice on the podcast. So thank you so much for listening to today's Podcast Friday. And if you've got any questions about paid advertising at all, send me an email on info@stuartmcadam.com. And if you want professional help with setting up Facebook, Google, YouTube, Pinterest, or TikTok ads, you can always go to paidadvertisinghelp.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.